We've just arrived in Europe, so what's the first thing on our minds? Well, getting some money. It's lunchtime and we are getting hungry, so we're heading over to the Campo dei Fiori, which is a very lively outdoor food market, and it's surrounded by restaurants. Now, these are casual, simple restaurants, but they've got some fresh pasta and great pizza. It's a wonderful church, Sant'Andrea della Valle, and it is huge. You always get a good view of a church from the very front by the altar or at the other end by the door as you enter. It gives you that maximum sweep of the size of the grandeur of the view. The church has set up this convenient mirror so you don't have to break your neck looking up at all the decorations up on the ceiling. It's actually a lot easier to look down than it is to look up. So this is kind of typical of Roman residential courtyards. You'd never know it from that little alley. Most people just walk right by it. We'll be walking through some quiet little alleys and also crossing some busy streets using the traffic light. This is the Piazza Navona. It's the greatest square of Rome. Great in the sense of being wonderful and lively, beautiful, large. One of the great centers of the city. There's artists here, there's restaurants and cafes around it, and it's just generally a great place for people watching. The Fountain of the Four Rivers. It's Bernini, Gian Lorenzo Bernini at his best. He was a great man. He was an architect, a sculptor. What's this building? Pantheon. Thank you. Oh. It's the only building with its roof still intact. Pantheon. Pantheon, that's right. On to the fine Gothic church of Santa Maria sopra Minerva. A very old church. It dates back to the 1200s. And at that time, they just didn't have the architectural ability to make very big windows. The Gothic is noted for the pointed arches that you see here. We move along to the Church of San Ignazio, which has an amazing ceiling mural painted by a Jesuit friar by the name of Andrea Pozzo. And when you look up, first of all, it's beautiful and colorful and well lit, especially this time of day. And then a few blocks over, we're at the Trevi Fountain, one of the great central points of the city. Continuing along to the Piazza di Spagna, this neighborhood has got some wonderful streets to walk in, and lots of people always cluster here together at the Spanish Steps in the heart of Rome. You might find yourself getting some gelato for some of this terrific Italian ice cream. And that wraps up a quick look at our first day in Rome. We made it! Yay! Heading home to rest. Well, early next morning, you might want to have a look at the Campo dei Fiori. It comes to life by 7 a.m. and it goes till about 1 p.m. And this fresh fruit and vegetable market also has souvenirs and flowers. We're starting out on day 4 of our Europe trip from the Tiziano Hotel, our home in Rome, right in the heart of town. A little breakfast buffet, nice way to start the day, have a chat with your fellow travelers. We'll go first of all to the Church of Gesù, and then we'll go through the ghetto and past Teatro Marcello, up the Capitoline Hill for a beautiful view. We're going to, of course, see the Forum and the Colosseum, 2 main attractions this morning, and other sights along the way. This is the Fountain of the Turtles. Beautiful spot, isn't it? So pretty. 4 life-size naked guys. Famous site that's called the Portico of Octavia. It's an ancient ruin. It's 2,000 years old. So the Teatro di Marcello. The theater was built 2,000 years ago. There's some fabulous views from the Capitoline Hill, looking across the domes of the city. And it's right next to the ancient Roman Forum. 100 stores in there. And it's beautiful today. It's a museum. And the greatest building of all, from the ancient days in Rome, is the Colosseum. And then we're heading out to the Vatican Museum and St. Peter's and admire the incredible artworks in the Vatican Museum. There are lots of classical statues, There are paintings and tapestries. We walk along together through the Vatican Museum, admiring the collections. One of the finest parts of the museum are the rooms painted by Raphael, called the Stanza. St. Peter's, the biggest church in the world, and perhaps the most elaborate interior space. It too has great sculptures, the Pietà by Michelangelo, the interior. It's an amazing visit to go inside St. Peter's. It's a must when you're in Rome.